Bye-bye. Thank you for the wonderful time we spent together. Kahit isang araw
After
lang.
touring the house, our visitors are often filled with questions. For instance, many visitors are curious about the Vanderbilt wealth. George Vanderbilt's grandfather was a self-made millionaire. From his humble beginnings, he grew to become a shipping and railroad tycoon after turning $100 from his mother into $100 million during his lifetime. His son, George's father, was also an entrepreneur whose hard work doubled the Vanderbilt family fortune. No one lives in the house today, but it is owned by the descendants, who take great pride in sharing it with the public. And yes, George Vanderbilt was ahead of his time. Did you notice the electric lights, powered elevators, and the underwater lights in the pool? From the moment George welcomed his first guests, Biltmore House ran on electricity, almost 50 years before most houses flipped the switch. Whatever your questions are, we hope you agree. A century later, Mr. and Mrs. Vanderbilt's home still leaves visitors with a sense of awe. So let's go back to see how it all started. George Washington Vanderbilt was the youngest of 8 children. He was extremely well-traveled, curious to explore different cultures, and see different sights. He was also more interested in books than the family business. In fact, it's said while traveling, he would often get lost in a bookstore looking for editions to add to his expanding library collection. In 1887, when George came to Asheville for the first time with his mother, he had no idea his life was about to literally move in a different direction. He was 25, not yet married, and living in his family's Fifth Avenue home with his mother. But after that first visit, the sprawling mountains of western North Carolina cast their spell over him and changed his life. Was he ambitious, innovative, or somewhat of a dreamer when he decided to build a 250-room French chateau that spanned the equivalent of 2 New York City blocks, the largest home ever constructed in the United States? Even Biltmore's architect, Richard Morris Hunt, described the grand plan as more than one man's brain could keep up with. We'd have to agree. Can you believe it took 6 years and almost 1,000 workers to complete construction? Pre-planning was essential. Miles of road were built, water sources identified, clay pits for brick making were dug, and talk about a room with a view. Landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted even erected 2 observation towers before the house was built, just so that George could climb up and approve the vistas that would be seen from the music room window, as well as from the south end of the terrace. As construction continued, the Biltmore House began to rise above the horizon. A mini-town crowded with workshops and sheds sprang up on what is now the beautiful manicured front lawn, or esplanade. Building materials not found locally, such as Italian